I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
And this is Ultra Bridge Slip to the Void, brought to you by
Josh.
For timely topical political commentary, you can hit us up in Middle America with Vin and Sori. There are multiple ways to get your song reviewed, dear listener. My favorite is the community option. $1 to get you in at Patreon. You pull your points together, and then that helps determine what songs we do. Or you can do what's known as the Ronin option, where you, dear listener, get to decide for yourself what song you'd like done, which is what the big homie did. 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. And then you get to make that decision for yourself. If you do that 3 times, you get pushed down to the $75 rate. Links are in the description. Also, the great DL Beluga, the hyper-capitalist king of the world, has gone into the business world, and he officially has an Amazon store where he is making sales, and we will include the link to his store in the description. So there you go. At some point, I don't think we're going to do it now. I'm looking around right now for my headphones. There they are. And where's the black cord? There's the black cord. All right. So Slip to the Void, Alter Bridge. Let's go. I thought Alter Bridge were kind of poppy. This sounds kind of dark.
Slip to the void, to the dark, to the fall. Crawl to the life you shouldn't know. You should never come this way to test the hands of fate. You don't belong here. Peel back the skin, close your eyes, hell is born to the abyss, but be
Oh, that's a good one. Hopefully this one doesn't get blocked.
Why?
Well, he said that this one is the studio version of the song. For some reason, they don't play the song the same way live, and it ends being like a little bit disappointing. So hopefully we don't have to change this video out for something else if it gets blocked.
I don't think we will, inshallah. We'll see.
Yeah, usually lyric videos are okay.
For all the newcomers, you'll notice that other reaction channels, and God bless them, you should subscribe to them. Like, share, comment, and subscribe to the other reaction channels. Support them. But you'll see they'll cut up the video. We don't cut up the video. We came into it, you're just like, we listen to it from start to finish. And that's just that's the only way we knew how to do it. And then we started getting these copyright claims. They'll that's when it gets demonetized, yada, yada, yada. We tried to change it midstream, but by the time we did, it was like we were like 5,000 deep, and people were like, "That's not going to work for us." So, anyway, that's why we came up with the Patreon idea to compensate for that. But when you play some bands or not bands, we shouldn't say that. Some of the record labels, the filthy capitalist record labels, will block certain songs. Like what just got blocked? Stay Together for the Kids, Blink-182 got blocked.
I'm sure it did.
And then we had to redo it and send it back up again and all that. Anyway, so hopefully this doesn't get blocked. Slip to the Void. What'd you think?
Oh, I loved it.
What do you think the song's about?
I wasn't watching the lyrics. Let me pull them up. Go ahead.
That guy, his voice is mega powerful. We've not done a lot of Alter Bridge. We did one song. The first Alter Bridge song we did was a live song, and it was just like very, very, very powerful, like that singer. So like I feel like him, Maynard, not saying necessarily this guy's on the same level as Maynard, but Dio. It's just like certain singers where it's like, Maiden. Like there's certain singers where it's like. I can understand as a band it would be just so tempting, like let's just feature this guy's voice because it's so out of this world. They did a good, this song kind of just really, they made sure to feature his voice, and I love the chorus was it was a soaring chorus, very catchy, one of those things that's going to stay in my head for the entire night. Thank you very much, Josh.
Oh, it seems kind of like the theme of that other song we did, because this sounds like regret, like right over here.
Yeah, I think I think maybe he's talking about himself.
Yeah, but I don't know where he went. What is the? You think the void is?
I think he broke up with his girlfriend or something.
You think the void is?
I think he became a big rock star and he left his girlfriend behind, and now he feels bad about it.
Crawl to the life you shouldn't know. You think it's Crawl to the Life You Shouldn't Know is his musical career?
Well, when he says you let love go, it says it right there.
Where?
Left to break in the cold and the void that you made the moment you let love go.
Oh. Right there at the end.
Why did you have to fall so hard? Look at what you've become. You've done. What have you become? Try to win back your days. You let them all escape your heart. Now that you've come so far, why did you have to fall so hard? So I just think it's he became a big rock star, and then he let.
That would be such a weird thing to like be with someone and be in love with them, and then they break it off with you because of their musical career, but then they write a song about how they miss you.
Well, I don't know if he misses the person per se.
Well, he's saying you don't belong here. Like, my God, what have you done? You don't belong here. Is that? Oh, you think that's just him questioning? Like, when you make certain decisions, and even though that's where you still you'll question, but even overall, yeah, this is where I should be, but you still do the questioning thing.
Well, I just
that's what he.
Yeah, I think it's.
You don't seem like the type of person that does that, though.
What?
Makes a decision and is like, I know this is the right decision, but, geez, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like second guessing it. Like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done this decision. Maybe I
don't second guess my decisions, but I quadruple and do hundreds of
laps.
Thoughts before I make the decision.
Oh.
Especially depending on how big the decision's going to be. Because that's one of the ways, just a practical way of living without regrets is being able to stop and think. I've got a rule, like I'm never going to make a major decision unless I've really thought about it. Because I would sit and watch, and I would watch, growing up, watching my mom, and then, she would just make these moves. And some of it had to do with, being bipolar, obviously. But she would make these moves, and then she'd feel, I would overhear her saying things about, like, regretting this move or that move. And I'm like, well, why didn't you think that through? Some of the moves were, like, very obvious to all of us, like, that it wasn't going to go well. And, people don't just make life-altering decisions by the laws of logic.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I don't think that that's necessarily a weakness. There's got to be a sort of like a marriage between the head and the heart as far as your decision-making process goes. So I don't think it's necessarily wrong that we don't only use logic, but there's a lot of steps that I go through when I make big decisions. So no, I don't generally regret decisions, but I did a lot, in high school. There was a lot of things happening, and I made certain decisions, and I was like, what am I doing? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So there, not anymore, but yeah, back in the day. And it's, you should have never come this way to test the hands of fate. You don't belong here. Crawl to the life you shouldn't know. Yeah, so I just think, like, especially the crawl to the life you shouldn't know, it's like his entry into rock stardom. Mm-hmm. And all the things that come with it. And I'm sure there's a point where it's like, sure, this is their dream, and oh my God, we finally made it, yada yada yada. But I also think that there's some like, like, holy moly, this might not be a good situation to be in.
Some of the way he words
seeing things.
It's like, holy moly, peel back the skin, close your eyes. Hell is born to the abyss, but be warned, you feel what you've become. My God, what have you done? You don't belong here. I think that major decisions, depending on what type of person you are, like you're saying, you think about it all before, and then you make the decision, and you're confident about the decision of the choice that you made, which is odd to me. Because there's some decisions that I'm like, really? You thought that through 100 laps? But anyway.
Really?
Yeah.
Like recently?
No, not so much recently. No.
Oh. You're talking about that one major decision?
Well, that was very major. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I did. And, I was 18 at the time when I made that decision. Yeah. So, I was
but I feel like you're smarter than me, and 18-year-old me would have never made that decision.
Well, I don't know. If you believe that love can conquer everything, then, I don't know. You might not.
No, but it's different because men and women are different, so...
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And the thing is like, fear almost never goes into my decision-making process. So, like, I don't go like, oh, what if this and this? Oh, no. I don't make decisions about that. That's not how I make decisions. So, like, being afraid that something wouldn't work out would not, whether it's a relationship or a job or whatever, that being afraid that I can't make something work is never part of the process. Mm-hmm. But after a while, after you get experience, you say, and I never want to say, like, love can't fix everything in a bad relationship. Like, I don't think that that's necessarily true. I don't think
it can fix everything.
I do think love can fix everything.
I think it can fix something.
I think it can fix everything if it's mutual. That's the thing. Like, not even God does that. So, if the love is mutual, then you can fix anything. People can overcome anything as a couple. But if both people are not invested in it, then it's not going to work. So that was something that I had to, like me and you, like, I knew that there were going to be a hell of a lot of difficulties if we got married. But, and the only differentiation was, I felt like that there would be some mutuality and that we'd be able to navigate through it, and so far we have. So, anytime, especially like with, the concept of the heart and relationships and things like that, there's always going to be a risk. And so, like, it's a hard thing to balance out in life, not just relationships, anything. It's like, do you want to be a person who just mitigates risk all your life in which case you miss out on so many cool experiences. But on the other side, are you going to be a completely reckless person who doesn't think at all? And then you end up in a situation and then you end up singing songs like this. I mean, they're good songs, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it can go both ways. You know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
to the abyss, but be warned.
I know. You feel what you've become.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
Is he saying that when you make that decision and you're in that situation, like, you're going to feel it? You're going to feel that loss or that whatever, like...
Well, it definitely changed him. Some circumstance changed him, you know. I always thought it was weird, you know, in high school or yearbooks, people say, don't ever change. It's like, what? Like, what are you talking about? Don't ever change. Like, of course people are supposed to change. Like, what are you talking about? What do you mean, don't ever change? I just thought that was so crazy. So, you know, the real issue is how is this decision going to change you? Not if the decision's going to change you, but how is it going to change you?
Yeah.
And I think if people look at the world, if people look at decisions like that, then that's gonna augment how you do that. Because you're gonna go, okay, this thing has a potential to change me this way. And is that a place you want to be? Is that where you want to go? Is that where you want to get to? If so, great.
Actually, I think that's a really cool thought because I think that people don't have that mindset, and that's why the whole like growing up or remembering what you were like as a kid or thinking back to the past kind of like has that feeling of like, I wish that I could go back there because I'm so different now.
Right.
But if you just know from the time that you're a child that you are going to change and you're not going to be the same person when you're 12 as you are when you're 22 and, you know, when you're in your 30s and 40s and every situation that happens in your life and as the years go by, it is going to alter and change you. But you're right, you have to say, okay, am I going to allow this situation, it is going to change me regardless, but is it going to change me for the positive or for the negative? And then allowing that situation to either work for you or destroy you.
Yeah, and that's what it says, like, sever the ties, trip the wire, dig your hole, doubt is alive, and you know you were once led to believe you were young and so naive.
Well,
but now no longer, but it's all in the way you turn your back today. So
you're saying you weren't young and naive?
He says, you were once led to believe you were young and so naive. So, you know, when you're young, yeah, so...
You were once led to believe you were young and naive. I thought it was saying you were once led to believe that you were young and naive, but you were never young and naive.
Right.
But that's not what it's saying.
And then it's that tension that, I mean, you even see it in Genesis 3, the tension between experiential knowledge and the loss of innocence. The tug between growing as a person and losing your childhood.
Yeah.
Both of those things are positive things that you cannot hold simultaneously. So, like, being a child and like looking at Orion and seeing him run around and like you could tell that he believes that the world belongs to him.
He's our son. He's like a year and a half.
He's a year and a half. Anything he wants, he goes and gets. He just genuinely believes the world belongs to him. So something gets taken. So it's like time will explain to him, no, that's not how the world works. Even if we were not his parents, like life would show him, no, everything doesn't belong to you. As a matter of fact, it's the opposite. You're a baby, you own nothing. Right?
Yeah.
But he doesn't know that when he knows nothing.
Right.
You only know that you own nothing when you get to the point when you start owning things. Then you realize that you don't really own much. So it's that crazy thing where like there's that battle between like holding, and you know it's obviously something very tragic about losing your innocence, you know, but at the same time when you lose your innocence, a lot of times you gain wisdom. So there's that, and it's not a simple concept to deal with. I mean, that's the draw in the garden, right? Like, wait a second, so knowledge is a bad thing? They obviously lost their innocence, but they gained knowledge. So is that necessarily a bad thing?
It comes hand in hand a lot of times. Like sometimes, like your wisdom can be something that you can kind of be like joyful about, and you can see it as like a positive thing. Or sometimes your wisdom comes with bitterness, and then it's like when you meet somebody and like when when you're falling in love, you probably didn't have this situation, because I don't think that you guys were like outwardly like a mushy or whatever, but like, or maybe you were, maybe people were like this with you, but like people were always telling me when they could see I was like happy about getting married, they were like, yeah, well, just wait till a couple years down the road. Like so many people said, like there was like actually a lot of people that were saying like negative things about, yeah, well, you just wait and stuff. Like, how is this helpful at all to say to somebody? But they obviously, like, their experiences made them bitter, and so seeing someone so happy about it, it was annoying to them, I guess.
Well, exactly, right? Like, it's like, can you lose your innocence gracefully? Mm-hmm. And the fact that your relationship didn't work out.
Did people ever say that to you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just wait.
Well, people, you know how extreme I am and all that. So, like, you know, we were around each other all the time, and, you know, I pretty much... See, with me, it was different because she essentially, like, eliminated everybody from my life. Because that's how she was. Like, she was like, I don't want anybody around you, blah, blah, blah. And it didn't matter, dudes, girl, it didn't matter. So, you know... So it was so when people would say things, I understood why they were saying what they were saying, because the undercurrent was you abandoned all of us for this girl. So so I understood that. So I always looked at it as, to me, I was like, I understand, you know, we went through hell and high water with these dudes, and now, like, I barely see them, they barely see me, and so, you know, but obviously, as a dude, you're not going to say, you're my friend, I miss you. I mean, I had one very emotional friend that would say stuff like that, but, you know, other than that, you know, you know, it wasn't like that. It was always a subliminal sort of undercurrent thing, and I knew that that's what was happening, and, you know, it was just a decision that I made. So, yeah, when people would say that, I never interpreted that as like, oh, they're being bitter. It was just one of those things where it was like, yeah, I get it, but that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
So there you go. Well, and at the end, it's kind of funny because, you know, so Shorty left. So we were together for 15, 16 years. She left, and then she basically said, like, because we were together since high school, so she didn't really play the field, you know what I'm saying? So she was like, I thought every dude was like you, blah, blah, blah. And she's like...
phrase, a dime a dozen.
Yeah, she's like, I thought you were a dime a dozen, yada, yada, yada. And she's like, I was mistaken. And like, you could tell, like... And you know, a lot of times I feel bad for her. I'm like, oh, man, she's in that, you know, apartment, blah, blah, blah. There's this clip... Because I think Jason Newsted from Metallica, he left Metallica because they were just horrible to him, so he finally left. And there's this clip with Lars. Somebody says something, and Lars is like, he left the band! He left the band! You know, whatever. So she was like explaining this to me now. That's all I heard was Lars. It was like, you left the band! You left the band! Like, sorry. Like, it is what it is. Some decisions are final, you know, and
yeah.
But see, I told her, you know, but you know, she didn't.
But she thought you were.
I mean, how pompous is that to say? All right, bitch, I'm one in a million. Go ahead.
Well.
Go ahead, play the field.
Well, I think that because you were so, her mental health and her well-being was so important to you, and you put so much time and sacrificed so much for that it was probably hard for her to picture that there could be an existence in which you would start to tend to your own self and needs, you know.
Yeah, I don't really. I just think that she, you know, when you're with somebody since high school. Oh,
I get that. I'm just saying. I think that she thought, even if, not that I don't think that she thought that she was wrong. I think that she believed that you were a dime a dozen. And then when she went out, thinking, but even if she was wrong, like, she doesn't have to assume that risk. Like, you're going to be there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like.
Right. Yeah. Crazy stuff. So, there you go. Moral of the story is, I don't know. write songs that get you a 9.1 on the reaction channel. There you are, dear listener. 9.1. What do you give it?
9.4.
Vin out.
Sorry out.
Gone.